Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That is the brand new intro for Back Talk with Bauer. I am your host, Josh of J. Bauer Art. Welcome to another episode. It's Tuesday night. It's 7 p.m. That means it's time for Back Talk with Bauer. Not Jack Talk with Bauer. That's just dirty and wrong, and you don't want to see that show. But I'm, like I said, Josh of J. Bauer Art. This is episode number 23. And if you guys dug that intro, if you really like it, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys thought. If you need something like that, need a video, commercial, editing, anything like that, I have gotten into that now. So if you need something like that, please head over to jbauerart.com to see more videos and to get a hold of me. But yeah, we got all kinds of plugs to do, all kinds of things to talk about tonight. First up, it is you can catch this show if you're catching it live here on Facebook. Welcome, thank you. You can find it anywhere that J. Bauer Art is found. And then if you want to catch the audio version of this later or miss some of it and want to hear it later or just want to support my podcast and help me grow the podcast itself, you can head over to Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, Stitcher, and I think a couple other ones. If I'm not on there, let me know. I'll try to get on your favorite podcast app. We're also on Twitch. Hello, everybody on Twitch, if anybody's actually watching. And then you can find me on the HWWS WebTV Facebook watch. You can catch all most of the episodes on there. We're starting to do that on there every week as well. And then you can catch all the episodes on the YouTube channel, all the previous episodes. So please head on over and subscribe, hit all the buttons, hit all the things, do all the shit, and you'll make me a very happy guy. Also, if you would like, I was selling them, still selling them. If somebody actually wants to buy them, please go and buy them. But if you have not yet, please claim your free Back Talk with Bauer sticker. I am trying to get one in every state. One is heading to Washington soon. I have some in Ohio, Maryland, and all around Florida. They're getting around. So if you want one, message me and hit the just let me know your address, and I will send you a free Back Talk with Bauer sticker to help promote the show and get people listening and all that fun stuff. And if you want the first ever Back Talk with Bauer t-shirt, please head over to Back Talk with, or man, I am messing up today. Head over to jbauerartshop.com and pre-order your shirt. The only way you can pre-order a shirt is right now. It ends October 6th, and that's the only way you're going to get a shirt at the moment. I'm working on some other ways where you can just one-off buy a shirt. But if you want to get a guaranteed shirt right now, please head over to jbauerartshop.com. And Lazy Nerd Designs is making them again. He actually made this shirt that I created a couple years back, and he's made all of my shirts so far, so we're keeping that in there. I will hook you up, Kyle Nunez. We got to get a thing together for you, a little care package, and we'll get that sent over. Hello, GW Palmer from Hanging with Web Show. Hello, Kyle Nunez, all the way in Trinidad. Terry in Ireland. All you awesome folks, thank you for popping in. Hi, Crystal. If you are watching and I can't see your name or you haven't commented yet, please say hi. And yeah. And then we'll bring on Rocky here in just a second, but I got two more plugs. I gotta do these fast, man. There's too much to talk about. We've got sponsors. Yes, people actually paid me to do this show. Who freaking believed it? But the awesome, the one, the only Kingdom of Comics down in Melbourne, Florida is a proud sponsor of J. Bauer Art and Back Talk with Bauer. And I'm way too into editing that video that was over there, and I can't get my freaking head focused. Should not edit videos right before I start this show. But you can find Kingdom of Comics over at facebook.com/Kingdom of Comics. You can find comics. They're also an authorized CGC dealer, toys, graphic novels, rare collectibles, pop statues, back issues, and more. On Fridays, you can you can get half off any beer with purchase of a trade paperback or graphic novel. Make sure to ask about the drinks to go deal. And then they wanted me to let you know, Jason and Paula, the awesome owners of Kingdom of Comics, wanted me to let you know that out this week, just today, you can get Batman 3 Jokers #2. And then you can also get Shang-Chi, the Master of Kung Fu #1. I think it's a movie tie-in one, if I read it correctly. Oh, I'm sorry. You're in Holland now, Kyle Nunez. I have to remember that. I apologize. But Trinidad's so much more fun to say. But yeah, if you want any of those comics, they actually messaged me to let me know that they got my 2 comics on hold. One of them being Batman 3 Jokers, the other one being Terminator versus Transformers. So they got those on hold for me. So when I get paid on Friday, I'm snagging a couple of those and probably a couple of more things. So go support Kingdom of Comics. Let them know that Back Talk with Bauer sent you. And that is facebook.com/Kingdom of Comics shop. And you can also order online if you're not in Florida. So go hit them up. The other awesome sponsor is Gamersoutreach.org. And the reason they are a sponsor this week is because my awesome youngest brother, Corey, sponsors my show every month. And we do a charity of the month. And this month, it's Gamersoutreach.org. Founded in 2007, they're a charity that provides equipment, technology, and the software to help kids play video games in the hospitals. Why would you want to do that? Aren't video games terrible? No, they actually help with treatment in the hospitals. Those kids are in there for a very long time sometimes, and this brings back some normalcy, some great ways to socialize, some ways to kind of forget the trauma that they're going through and kind of escape without leaving the hospital. They do amazing work. They've helped over 1,250,000 kids a year. You can donate money, you can fundraise, you can donate games and volunteer. So go head over to gamersoutreach.org, hit the donate button, do something, help out an awesome sponsorship. And we are looking for a brand new one for the month of October, which will start next week. So if you would like to be one of the sponsorship or the charities we talk about, please message me and I will get you squared away. That was a lot of freaking plugs. I'm pretty sure Rocky's asleep by now, waiting for me to get through all this crap. But let's bring him up. He is the one, the only Rocky Soka from What's the Fuss podcast. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello. How are you? I'm good.
Good, man. Thank you so much. So for those that don't know or don't pay attention, I was actually supposed to have another guest on tonight. But I messaged him last night going, hey, are we still good? And he went, no, I totally forgot, so I have to cancel. I'm like, cool. And Rocky was actually talking to me just before that, and we were setting up a time in November for him to come on. And then I messaged him, I'm like, hey, what you doing Tuesday night?
Always happy to help, man.
I appreciate it, man. It's I just did an episode last week because Funny to Informing and I had some scheduling issues. Luckily, I was able to bring him on Friday, but last Tuesday I had to do an episode by myself, and I don't mind doing one randomly, but 2 weeks in a row, that'd be boring as hell. And I'm not. It
does get boring, yeah. You need someone to bounce ideas off of.
Yeah. Randomly, I'll try to drag my wife in here, but she doesn't like being on camera and all that stuff. So, but thank you so much for popping on. And so before we get into anything, let's plug your show, what's it about, and where people can find it.
It's called What's the Fuss Podcast. You can find it pretty much anywhere. Right now, we're kind of just focusing on video. So we're on YouTube primarily.
Okay.
And we also, we put it up on Facebook and everything. And then every once in a while, we'll actually update the audio files or whatever. But right now, we're kind of focusing on the video, even though none of us are very attractive. But yeah, it's kind of like
John Hanan guy.
We sort of make fun of current events in the news, and it's kind of just dark comedy.
Yeah. It's
if you're into offensive stuff, you may like us.
If you need a good laugh and a good look at the world that is going on around you, definitely check out What's the Fuss and support awesome people that support me. I will tell you, we've been doing, because we've got the HWWS WebTV network that we have going on with a bunch of different shows and everything like that. We have actually been doing, I don't know how your YouTube numbers are doing, but our Facebook watch numbers have been going really good. It seems like people are more into that than YouTube now, at least for our shows. So if you're a podcast or, you guys doing video, might want to look into Facebook Watch, because it seems like that's the place to be right now.
Yeah, we premiered on Facebook whenever we do it, and it seems like no matter what time we put it up, there's always some kind of reaction, especially on Facebook.
That's awesome.
People seem to our listeners actually argue with each other a lot.
You and Funny to Informing draw very interesting fans and supporters, and I had a couple pop in Friday night with Funny to Informing. I'm sure a couple of you guys will be popping in tonight. So welcome to everybody, and I hope you enjoy my show. And a real quick shout out to my mother-in-law. Hello, Mama Humphrey. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're doing well, and much love to you. So when did you start What's the Fuss?
Started in February of 2016, actually, and
wow.
yeah, it was just a crazy time. There used to be a guy on our show, Bill, who committed suicide, and we had a charity called Planks for Nothing, to where we'd give away skateboards to kids, and then it grew to shoes and clothes and giving to the homeless, and then we started these charities and all this other stuff. And he was cracking me up all the time. So we eventually stopped listening to podcasts and started talking to each other. And we knew a guy named Etchy who had all the equipment and stuff like that. So somehow it all came together. I invited him out drinking one day, and I said, let's make a podcast. And everybody in town had the same idea at the same time, but we still did it. And for some reason, we just kind of stood out, I think, because we were just a little bit different. At the time, every show was testing the waters, and there was a lot of stuff politically going on. That's when our current president became our president, and a lot of people were afraid to talk about it. We certainly weren't. Right. And we started bringing in like local politicians and making fools of them, and we'd have cool bands on and stuff like that. But like, I don't know how it grew. I don't know. I really don't know what happened, but for some reason people latched onto it. They liked it. They bought our stuff, and we just kind of kept going from there. And we've had a lot of changes. Like I said, we had one person kill himself. We had, one person kind of leave us in the dust, sort of. And so we've had some lineup changes. And right now where we're at with John and Chris, I think it's the funniest it's ever been. And I kind of like it more now, actually, than I ever did, really.
Well, you got two awesome guys that are very funny, and you yourself are very funny. If you guys haven't seen some of the, I think you were on at least the first and second of Back Talk with Friends. I know definitely the first.
I was on a couple of them with you.
Yeah, so you fit in. You three guys are hilarious to have on. I always have a good time chatting with you guys. We could probably do our own just group of Back Talk with Friends eventually, which I think we need to do here soon. But
I would love that. Yeah, those guys are hilarious, and they actually make my job extremely easy, because if like some days John comes in, he's tired, and Coleman and I can carry it on, and then some days, I was going through a really rough patch for a while. A lot of people in my family died all at once. And when I was going through a rough time, they were still hilarious, and the show was still there. And like they, it was the craziest thing that for at least 1 hour, they could make me laugh,
Definitely. Terry says Josh is constantly threatening to replace himself with that J Bauer art guy. That J Bauer art guy is much funnier than me, so I can't even argue with that.
John quits the show once a week, and then he comes in the next week ready to go.
So where did the I'm always interested in where the names come from shows. So where did your name come from?
That's actually a good question. I have no idea. I really don't know. We had a lot of names that didn't make it, and I'm trying to think of some of those. It was almost like starting a band at first. Like, we didn't know what we were going to do. Again, there was different people then. We didn't know. We actually started off, we were going to just talk about music and art and stuff like that. But then the news was just so appealing. And a lot of the podcasts in town and even radio shows and stuff like that, they couldn't talk about some of these stories the way they needed to be discussed. So it just became a different thing. And What's the Fuss? I don't even know if that was my idea. I think that might've been an ex-girlfriend of mine. And then the WTF thing kind of fit or whatever. Yeah. And it wouldn't be till like a year later that I found out that Mark Maron already had a show called What the Fuck. I wish I would have known that at first, but I think maybe it helped us, maybe it hurt us. But we weren't really trying to copy him, but it certainly seemed like it.
Well, there's so many shows, especially at that time, and even now, there's so many shows. There's like once in a while you're going to overlap with the shows.
Well, the shows are so different, and I actually don't. He's a great comedian, but he's not someone that I followed or anything, so I didn't really know about that. And even though it was one of the biggest in the world, I kind of felt stupid afterwards. But What's the Fuss was already our name, and so that probably was just a late night drunken. What are we going to call the show? And we ended up, I really couldn't even tell you. That was one of like 10.
Yeah, I did a podcast years ago with a buddy of mine, and we came up with the show name, The Creative Hangout. And I was amazed that was not taken anywhere. Like I went and searched it up because the first thing you do is go and see if it's on Facebook or something. Yeah. And it wasn't taken, so I couldn't believe that. And then with this name, Shelley Wheeler, an old friend of mine, actually came up with it, and it was kind of nice because it's got my last name in it, so it's not like that one's going to be taken up. And
Back Talk With Bauer is a good one. I think one that we didn't do because again, I had a co-host at the time named Bill.
Right.
Somebody was gonna actually wanted to call it Rocky and Bill Winkle, and Bill he put the kibosh on that pretty much immediately. He was like, I don't want people calling me Bill Winkle, man. I don't blame him.
I can picture the shirts already.
I think that was we even tried to make a logo or something, but I was like, we're just copying. Now we're really copying,
right?
But yeah, and then I think there was another one that it literally just sounded like a punk band. And I was like, we're not a fucking garage band. This is a podcast. And then What's the Fuss just kind of, because that's what we were going to be talking about. We were going to be talking about what the fuss was all about with these issues going on, and especially at the time, it was super tumultuous. Not that it's gotten any better after 4 years,
right?
But
it's actually gotten worse in some aspects.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. But honestly, for podcasting, the material is evergreen now. I barely even have to, I have a few things that I know that I'm going to do throughout the week. I'll have a few jokes that I write or whatever. But by the time that we put out a show, let's say we put out a show on Sunday, we record Saturday, we put out the show Sunday, and then Monday, let's say something big will happen in the news. By Saturday, that's not even topical anymore.
Right.
So all my stuff is kind of gone unless it comes up in another way. And I go, ooh, I have a joke for that. But, I kind of need to forget about it halfway through the week because the end of the week is when all the cool shit happens.
Yeah. Well, and even if it is a big thing on Monday or Tuesday, it's the way we consume everything now. It's just so quick and so fast that, it's old news as soon as it comes out. By the end of the day, it's like, okay, we're done with this one. I was even what was I? Oh, I was catching up on Tom and Dan podcast. And I think this was last Friday's episode or so. And they were talking about the tennis player hitting the girl in the throat with a ball. I'm like, man, that was big for one day, and then it disappeared, and now it's back up again back up at that time because he was getting some heat from it.
I didn't even see that story, man. That's how fast the news goes.
Oh man, it's one of those things that you feel kind of terrible for laughing at it, but I'm an asshole, so I don't really feel that bad.
Not me, man. I can't help it. I stopped trying to be nice so long ago.
Yeah.
And now, once you sell your soul, you can't go back. You can't, whenever I try to pretend to be normal or nice or whatever, it comes off as so disingenuous because I'm just naturally a sarcastic. I'm just mean. Yeah.
And that's how I am too. And my wife she's just like, you're an asshole. I go, yeah. I'm like, I point out the funny shit and the terrible shit that I see around myself because it's the only way you can survive. Yeah. Especially nowadays.
Good.
And especially nowadays. But man, if you go up, all you have to do is type in "woman gets hit in throat from tennis ball," and I guess the tennis player was all pissed off because something wasn't going right. So he goes and he takes a ball that was behind him and he kind of whacks it away, and perfect lined up, cracks her right in the throat. She hits the ground and she's like, and of course it's dead quiet because there's no audience in there. So she's like,
That's funny. The same thing happened to me in high school. My high school wanted to start a lacrosse team out of nowhere, and none of us knew how to play lacrosse, and nobody even gave a crap about it. But they were like, Rocky, you're tough. Why don't you join the lacrosse team? So I'm like, cool, give me a helmet. I go out there. I'm out there for maybe 15 minutes. It's really hot. And I'm talking about I got hit dead in the neck with a lacrosse ball. And that was it. That was it. I skateboarded home. I was not a lacrosse player. I was like, man, because I went out there thinking, I was like, man, I love hockey. I was like, I'm going to be kick ass at this. No. Well,
see, I've never even been a sports guy. Like my dad kept trying, when I was in high school, kept trying to push me into sports, to, be active in the school and try to make friends. I'm like, these people hate me in normal school time. Now you want me to spend more time with them. And then I'm not even like sportsable. Like I'm not even an active person. So I had to go, I did wrestling one year, got my ass kicked the entire time. And then I did track for a year, and that was terrible. And I just, like, after I got done, I'm like, Dad, I'm not a sports guy. I'm done. I'm like, I don't even watch them on television because it exhausts me.
I like skateboarding a lot. I was always a skateboarder growing up, and then I did get into mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and even Kung Fu for a little bit. But I never got into, like, well, I haven't played baseball since I was 6. Right. I don't think I've ever properly thrown a football. I don't think I've ever done it. And the only reason I like hockey is because they let them fight.
Right.
That's it. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Tom and Dan, because when I was thinking about starting the podcast, I posted something up online. I was like, is this even interesting to anybody? Would anybody enjoy this? And Dan specifically was like, yes, you should definitely do it. And he gave me some words of encouragement. And then I've been on, like, in studio, not like on the show, like where they're interviewing me or anything, but I've been in studio a couple times. And one time I was talking to Tom afterwards, and I was like, he was kind of giving me some advice, sort of, and he was like, man, he was like, just steer clear of politics. And I was like, nope, we can't do that now. Not that that's all the show is about. It's really not about politics, but if something crazy happens, we have to talk about it,
Well, you're making fun of it. You're not, you probably aren't even leaning one way or another. You just probably make fun of it and point out the craziness that goes down half the time.
I've thought this way even back with Bush and Obama and all this. I hope they all lose. I don't like any of them. If you want to be a politician, I already don't like you. I certainly don't lean one way or the other. Yep. And the guys on my show they lean probably more liberal, but even they don't care. So we're not invested in this in any way. Like, we like these guys, so it's fair game. If somebody does something stupid,
you're gonna
say it, and that happens a lot.
Well, and it's really funny too, because everybody's like so strong into all their stuff, and one side or the other, or the political party, and blah blah blah. It's like, you do realize they don't care about you. Like, at the very least, the individual you, maybe the America as a whole, or a certain amount of people as a big massive group, but like you sitting there, me sitting here. They don't give a shit. They do not care. They don't care what happens to you, how you roll, what money you make, nothing. They don't care. Yeah. And you're just like, I love this guy. I want him to win.
Yeah, that's a weird thing that, I remember talking about it with my dad when he was alive. He was telling me that it used to never be like this. People never talked politics in the workplace, or especially at bars, or, religion and politics. You just don't talk about it with people. And now it's all people talk about, which is super, and encroaches on your personal, beliefs, I guess. But it also, it immediately makes you, like, not friends with someone now,
right?
Which is ridiculous,
right?
It's a little ridiculous. And I have friends that are on both sides of the fence that try to persuade me one way or the other. And I just gotta, it's not going to happen,
No, I've had a couple people on my job like look at me funny because I don't follow any of it. I don't do any of it. And they're just like, oh. I'm like, what does it matter?
People get mad at you for that.
Yeah. I'm like, what does it matter? I couldn't even make a choice anyway. So what does it matter?
Yeah.
But man, it's it at least has to be easy right now, and it's probably more fun for you guys right now because we're getting into that fun time of year, and with the debates kick off tonight, right?
Yeah, the debates will kick off tonight, and already there's shenanigans with that. Also up on the WTFP group page. That's kind of we have 2 pages: the Facebook official What's the Fuss Facebook page, and then we have kind of a little meme group, which is the WTFP group page, and it's just uncensored shenanigans over there. I don't know what the hell they're up to, but there's already drinking games up there for
I saw that.
Yeah, like anytime that this guy says this or Trump's hair falls off or something like that, then you take a drink or finish your drink or whatever. So that's gonna be fun.
There's gonna be some dead people by the end of that 2 hours, man. Because I saw you're gonna hit it in the first 10 minutes, like at least 5 of them.
I enjoyed one debate, and that was the one with Hillary, Trump, Bernie, and then a couple other assholes. And it reminded me of the cool table in high school. Like just making fun of, discrediting. And again, I'm not invested, so I don't even half the time know exactly what they're talking about. I think most people don't. They just want their team to win. And so it was just hilarious to watch these adults regress to, well, he said poop, or like whatever.
He said this. He did this. He said that. Oh man.
Yeah. And I've actually lost friends over this. Good friends. I've lost friends over not liking their particular person. I said some unflattering things about the Clintons, and it actually cost me a really good friend. But you're better off without them.
Yeah, and that's so sad because they're probably never gonna meet any of those people in their lives, let alone be friends with them or have something that actually matters.
There's no reason to get that invested. There's really not. I couldn't imagine a time where like Hillary Clinton's not going to help me do anything. Neither is Trump. Nobody's going to
They're not going to come and put up a fence with you or move your couch or whatever. Yeah, whatever friends do.
And they don't. I mean, my politics are pretty on both sides of the fence. I don't want the government touching the paycheck ever. But also, I'm obviously pro civil rights in every way. So sometimes you can feel kind of like a man without a country there. Because you're like, I don't like the government, and I also don't like this person, and I don't like this person. And now, again, I get to the point where I'm like, I hope you all lose.
Oh, man. So, back to your podcast and everything. So, I know I hate talking about it, but it's always interesting. I like seeing how people have adapted since the world went to shit and hell broke loose in the world because of COVID. So how has it affected your show? How have you changed some things up? I think from what I talked to Phoning to Informing guys, it hasn't changed a ton for either of your shows.
COVID didn't do much for What's the Fuss because we live in chaos. Since the very beginning, the show was in chaos. Half the people in town hated us, which I loved, and I fed off that. And then so we were like and then of course we had Bill's suicide, which was kind of a big deal in the podcast community, and that actually kind of blew us up and made us, like, I hate to say it, but it really made us much more popular. And then we started other shows. We started a show called DNA, which was very political, and we've had other shows that I've been on and off and whatever. So What's the Fuss has always existed in chaos. And so, and Funny to Informing, he always records on location, like just around. He doesn't have now we have a studio at my house, but this is not it. I'm actually in my daughter's room right now, which is what this thing is about here.
I love your little dress back there. It's going to look great on you.
Yeah, and it's got a unicorn head on it. There's a lot of weird things in this room. Later on, if we get bored, we can search it for pot.
There we go.
But yeah, so What's the Fuss kind of thrives in chaos. And so, when Bill died, we put out a show the next week. And when we ditched Etch, we put out a show pretty much the next week. And we've always kind of lived through this. And when COVID was going on, I was actually on vacation, and we were still doing shows. I was doing them from Louisiana and the Keys, Texas, West Virginia, California. I was all over the place.
Holy cow.
And we could still do a show. because they have the equipment. I have a cell phone or this tablet that I'm doing it now, and we were able to adapt. And then with quarantine, we kind of just decided, for months, I saw like 10 people total.
Right.
I saw my chick, my kid, a few select family members, and John and Chris. So we just kind of decided, hey, if everybody's feeling good, then come on in. We'll do the show. We're not going to have a room full of people or anything like that, but we just kept it going. And I'm pretty sure I caught COVID before everybody even knew of COVID. So
yeah, I think there was some stuff. I think it was around a good chunk of last year, and nobody was saying anything or realizing it or whatever, because I knew of a couple of people that just were down and out for a good while, and it took forever for them to recover.
It took me 3 days. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I was in New Orleans, and we just got off a plane, and I saw people wearing masks, but there was like next to no talk about any of the. I certainly hadn't heard of COVID yet, and walking around New Orleans, it's just disgusting. Anyways, it's one of my favorite towns in the world. I've got it tattooed right here on my arm, but I love the place. I'll be back eventually, but it's dirty. It's filthy.
Oh yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was sitting on the street, and I was just waiting for people to meet up with me, and I was sitting on the curb, and I was just hanging out, and some lady came up to me and gave me $3. She thought I was homeless. But yeah, and there was one night. There was a few nights where I didn't feel good, but one night particularly where I just felt like shit, and we had to go out, and I was like, man, I totally did not taste like $100 steak. And so now I'm thinking that's when it was. And then of course I was good by the time we hit the next state. But I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So I got a mild version of it. And then I had a friend that nearly died from it. So
yeah, that's Terry is chiming in from Ireland, and I remember him being down and out for a while, because Terry's our like social media guru, one of our social media gurus. So he's doing all kinds of stuff for us. And I remember he said, because he says in the comments, December to March for me, whatever virus I had nearly killed me. He said, I remember going like weeks at a time where he's just like, I haven't gotten over it. I'm still feeling like shit. He was still doing stuff for us, but he was just like down and out, man. So yeah,
sorry
Terry,
to hear it.
Yeah, Terry might have had it too. It's crazy how things have gone down with all that, but I do, and Funny to Informing and I and a couple other people have talked about how this has all been shit, and a lot of bad things have happened. A lot of people have passed away, but there's also a lot of good and change and different things that have come out from this. And I've had some good personal growth with different things and everything like that. And, we finally have technology like this where we can easily chat with each other, and I can do a show with anybody around the world at any point and not have to worry about anything. I just click the buttons, and as long as they show up, we're good to go.
Yeah. I actually kind of liked the, it was for a bad reason, but I kind of liked the reset button that it did for at least because we did go into quarantine for a while, my family and I, and honestly, we had to hang out for weeks at a time, and we watched Space Jam and 90s movies, and went on walks and did stuff by ourselves, and I kind of enjoyed that time, even though it wasn't for the greatest reason in the world. And but did you what happened with quarantine? I know that you and I had done shows during quarantine. Like, did you? I mean, you do your show like this. Did it mess with you too much?
Well, honestly, this show was created because of quarantine. Because I went from what was it? April? I think. When did we go on lockdown? March or April?
It was the end of March, because I had to leave the Florida Keys, and we almost didn't make it back.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were getting into that lockdown point, and everything's getting canceled, because I had like the whole month of April just filled with stuff to do, and with the live painting and all the art stuff and everything like that. So I kind of saw the writing on the wall. Stuff started getting canceled. If it wasn't canceled, I was canceling it myself, and kind of just sitting around going, what the fuck am I going to do now?
Yeah. We had a cruise that we were supposed to go on in the BDM cruise. We were supposed to go on that on April 20th, and just a week or two before, it all got canceled, and we got our money refunded and everything, which, we wanted to go on the cruise. set aside the time, but it wasn't in the cards. I mean,
no.
At that point I was terrified of, I was getting all my groceries delivered and,
Yep.
I don't like people anyways that much. Like, I love people. I like my friends, and I like people that are kind of like goofy and whatever. But the general public, annoys the crap out of me. And I kind of liked that everybody had to stay away, and I got to wear my mask. I'm not a very attractive person, so it was cool to have a mask on. And then so I've also been talking like Bane for the last few months. So I was kind of having fun with it, even though it does suck that people were either sick or even dying from it. That's pretty sad. But
I've been using it as a really good resetting point, like you were saying. I created this show to talk to interesting people, still stay in communication with people. I knew the art career was kind of already dead before all this happened because nobody had money beforehand. Hey, Trav, good to see you, sir. Thank you for popping in. Trav from the Semantics podcast.
What's up, buddy?
But yeah, I kind of realized, because over the last at least good 2 years of doing the art stuff, the conventions, the comic book scene, people didn't have money then. They were, oh, I don't have money, I can't afford this, blah, 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 blah. So I was just like beating a dead horse, for a couple of years. So this kind of really forced me to stop. I haven't painted anything since March, and I started this show and then got back into graphic design and focused on that more. And now both of those have exploded. And I'm doing intro videos for podcasts, and I've created over probably getting close to a dozen different videos for different things now. So I would have never thought I would have done that 7 months ago.
Well, damn, we might be asking you for one because, like I said, we're pretty much going video primarily now. We'll still have podcast out, but I like the video aspect because it's just for us, it's kind of fun because now we can make up either stupid skits or dress John up like a weird emo guy, or we can just kind of have fun with stuff. And we might be talking to you about an intro vid. That'd be fun.
The guys and I were talking Friday night, and they were saying that they may need something down the road. So I'm totally down for it. We can chat and figure out everything. And honestly, if you're already doing a podcast, it makes sense to just add the video to it because it's just you can still take it and make the podcast version, but now you got this extra version that everybody can sit down and watch.
Yeah. I like watching podcasts. There's a few of them coming to mind, but like Legion of Skanks is a good one that I like watching. And even though they're not really doing much, they're kind of just hanging around. Every once in a while, they'll either get into a fight or something like that, and it's just cool to see the video. But yeah, we're always going to have the other stuff up. But the only problem is it does, putting the video up takes forever. Editing it all together doesn't take a lot of time, but waiting for it to render and all this other stuff. It's one of the reasons actually why we couldn't get something to you, I believe, in time for that Comic-Con thing.
Oh yeah,
it took forever just to send the email. It takes 6 hours, So that's a unfortunate part of it. But as long as beforehand that's going to happen, not a big deal.
Well, and I've been learning different tricks here and there, different things. I will say Dropbox has become my new best friend. That has been fantastic with sending videos to people. Because it's, you drop it in there, it uploads pretty quickly, and then they can download it at any point. So, Dropbox has been great. And then it's expensive, but Premiere so far, I haven't done a big video. I need to do one of my big videos like this show. But Premiere has been doing videos real quick, at least my 2-minute intros or whatever they are. I hit the button and in a few minutes it's done. So I'll let you know how it goes with a bigger file. But
if you ever walk around Las Vegas and open up your Dropbox, there's going to be about 55 wieners in there. That was the thing.
I bet.
We were in Vegas around this. Actually, it was Halloween last year in Las Vegas. It was just as crazy as it sounds.
I bet.
My buddy was like, every once in a while, he'd just show me just a wiener on his phone. Just be like, nice. I wonder whose it is. We'd be looking around for some guy with his pecker out.
They just randomly send them?
I guess so. I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know how it works. Nobody ever sends me a wiener.
I haven't gotten a wiener in my Dropbox. Please do not send me wieners in my Dropbox. That's not a call to action for anybody.
Now you're gonna get them, man. Now you're gonna get them. But Vegas on Halloween, I definitely recommend it. It was crazy. We saw Flavor Flav.
Oh man, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, I was walking through the MGM Grand with my buddy. We were going up to our room, and Flavor Flav literally almost knocked us over. He had an entourage of people. It was crazy as hell. And like, he was super drunk, so I didn't want to talk to him. But also, I wanted to be like, "You helped Fight the Power." You know, like, holy shit.
So I talk, because I like talking to or getting ideas too, and talking different ideas. So Funny to Informing, we talked about, we're getting into we're now in phase 3 of reopening Florida. Hopefully life will in the next year or so get to somewhat to a normal. What's the plans for the show once you are, we can be around people a bit more? Are you keeping it the same? Do you have some goals that you want to achieve, or?
Well, so we just kind of took a 2-week hiatus. John had some personal problems. Coleman, it was his birthday, so he went on vacation, and I wanted to kind of just sort of reset the show and work on some logos and do some shit like that. So we just kind of took a mini vacation, just a few weeks, and people got pissed. But that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. And so what we want to do is, obviously it's election time. We're going to be making fun of that. We can't avoid it. You know, I can't wait for whatever happens tonight. And I just think it's going to get sillier and sillier and sillier until one of these guys takes the cup. And by the way, go Lightning. So I have a feeling that, we're going to make fun of that. We're probably going to do some more on location stuff, because with the video, it's sort of nice to, we've been able to go to a couple bars. We've been able to go to, a couple pubs, restaurants, whatever, and even parks and stuff like that where there's not going to be anybody. And, so we'll be doing some of that. And we plan to have you on. We have something going on with the guys from Entering the Black Hole. Also, we've been working with Brittany from Transitional Space on some stuff. I recently did her second episode, and it's actually doing very well for the first and second episode, man. She's doing some really good numbers.
That's awesome.
And, certainly more than I got on my first show, and people were excited about our numbers from the first show. But but yeah, so we've been working with some people. We definitely have plans to have more people on, like you, and just interesting people, whoever will still talk to us. Because like I said, we're not public enemy number 1. We were at one point, but now we're kind of, it's sort of like when your favorite band goes underground and they're still writing records, but you just didn't hear about it. That's kind of where we're at. So, which I actually prefer. I like this a lot more than, I guess, the height of the popularity, when the phone doesn't stop ringing and you don't know what to do, and everybody wants on your show, and people are trying to use you. You can just feel it. These people were nowhere, and then all of a sudden they're up your ass, and you know why. You can tell. You can just you can read the fakeness. But we're gonna get a little bit more public, and we're gonna get a little bit some more people on, and we're changing little things, but nothing too drastic, because then if it doesn't work, you kind of have to atone for that. So I would rather just one little thing at a time, and then eventually that kind of slowly evolves it, sort of like how we've been doing. Hopefully nobody else kills themselves or anything. That'd be great. But like, I would rather do it in little tiny segments, just one new logo at a time. The Facebook was a thing that people liked. We're trying things out. We have the luxury of using What's the Fuss as we can play with it as much as we want. We can fuck with it all we want. And then Funny to Informing, if something works, we can apply it to that, because that's a more serious show with a lot more. It's got, I don't know about the downloads, but we take it a little bit more serious, because it's got a great name. It's very marketable. People love it. So, and What's the Fuss is just, it's kind of willy-nilly. So if we screw something up, it doesn't matter. And then, so we kind of have the luxury of screwing with What's the Fuss and doing whatever, and then taking it over, if it still works, to Funny to Informing, which I don't even talk on that show. Very, very seldomly.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've talked to a few people. We had I was on the Patricio's Orlando Shit show, and we did like one trying to do like a Q&A of podcasting, and we had all of our group and we were trying to help a new podcast out. And it's you're the second person or the third person if I count myself that has like two shows, and one's like this is the professional show, this is where we and then we have this other show that we just it's all fuckery.
Yeah, yeah. Well, What's the Fuss started first, and I think it's got a more hardcore following. We've had the same couple hundred people that are just there week after week. They don't leave, and from the very beginning, and it grows slightly and kind of has plateaued and very slightly risen throughout the years, and they're always there, which is awesome. I love them. They're the reason that I was able to quit doing construction and do this for a living, and that was really cool, and I love them to death. They know who they are, and then but What's the Fuss? Like I said, it's been there longer, but we take it. It's so stupid. We're under no obligation to like take it seriously. And with Funny to Informing, again, I don't even speak on that show unless they ask me a question. I'm kind of like their Jamie for Joe Rogan. They just literally ask me questions and I bring it up on the monitor, spin it around. And if they turn on my mic, I know to go over there and actually just read what I'm getting offline. Or if I actually know about the topic, it'll happen sometimes. But for the most part, I'm behind the scenes on that one.
Okay.
Which I actually prefer, because then it's not the same show twice,
Right. I was just gonna ask you something, and now I totally blanked.
Well,
what was it? Think. Oh, one thing I was gonna say, whenever you're ready for a new logo, I can totally, if you want help or you want, a different take on it, I would totally be down for doing that. Because I was actually getting your logo from your Facebook last night to create the image to promote the show. I'm like, that needs to be a new logo. There needs to be something new to it.
I'm messing around with it, and we had someone that was doing us logos, but like this person who I love dearly would come back with these elaborate, weird things that were like these vectored images of, like, he'd be like, you could put this on a billboard if you want to, and it wouldn't get pixelated and all this other stuff. I'm just like, I need a little tiny punk rock logo for the almost a watermark for the screen, and just a little simple WTFP. And I made a few here lately that are very, very rudimentary. And I definitely need all the help I can get. I'm looking for something kind of like that. I can't even read Tom and Dan in the corner, but I know it's Tom and Dan it's their font. It's their colors. Yeah. It's their, oh no, what did I just touch? That's not good. Okay. But it's their logo. It's their font. You can read it a mile away. And I'm kind of looking for something a little bit more simple like that, but we can talk about that later. But yeah, I want to do something like that. Just a little punk rock logo that,
Yeah, I'm totally down for that. I just wanted to make sure you knew I'm, we can work something out, because I've been having too much fun making all these, because everybody's been making a podcast or bringing podcasts back or whatever. So I've made quite a few different show, web series, podcast logos lately, and they're fun to do.
Is it getting a resurgence now? I'm so out of the loop that I don't know if there's I don't know the shows that have stayed with us. I don't know the shows that have gone. I know we've lost a few shows over the years, but I mean, I don't even know what shows are around anymore. I'm out,
Like the first month or two of like quarantine and COVID and everything, a lot of them were coming out of the woodwork. And I had one guy, he was bringing like 2 shows back, and another guy that was creating a new show. So I was creating a lot of stuff, and then like our network, the HWWS WebTV YouTube channel and network, a lot of our people started taking it a little bit more seriously and kind of stepping up more. And a lot of them are a mix of between podcast and web series. They're kind of blending in together. But more of those people were coming to me going, okay, we need something new. We need an official logo. We need some new branding, so we look a little bit more professional, because this is like the time to strike, because people need stuff to watch or listen to because they can't do anything else. I mean, there's not even like new movies.
Yeah. The same thing happened. We were birthed from this this ugly time in the Tom and Dan history where they got caught. They got some legal trouble. Not to well, I mean, during the first few years of their show, with the radio station they used to work for. Everybody knows the one in town. And one second. But yeah, so they got into a thing, and when they had to basically calm their cursing and whatever down, all these other shows popped up because of that. And I think that had something to do with us. We were already kind of thinking about it anyways, but you could tell a lot of people jumped on that opportunity. And I guess with COVID, the same things happened, which is great. I say the more the merrier.
I'm just interested to see who's around in a year. I'm hoping my show is, but I'm very interested to see who's around in a year, because you know, some of the ones that I've seen, there's some really cool ones, some really cool ideas. There's other ones that are going, we'll see how long this lasts. You know, it's been interesting. It's fun working with the different people, and it's always fun because like somebody will come up to me or they'll message me and go, "Hey, I need a logo for my show." I'm like, "Okay, what's your show about?" And it's never the same thing twice. It's always something a little bit different, a little bit tweaked, you know, and it makes it easier to put that spin on their logo. I have one that we created it was something in the living room. It's like in the living room with blah blah blah. I can't remember how it went, but I created this couch, and there was like, the couch is all messy with stuff all over it. They love The Sims, so I put a little Sims diamond things in there. And then like the picture's on the wall, but it's crooked, and there's kid drawings everywhere and splattered paint. And it like came out so nice. And then right afterward, I made one with like all kinds of caution tape and everything.
Yeah, we did the same thing when a guy that was actually on the show, Rye, he was on our show for a while after Bill died. He also does, you know, he does a lot of art projects, but he does a lot of stuff online too. And when he was asking us about what our show's about, we didn't know. We had no idea. So we were like, well, you know, there's going to be this and this and this. And so our first logo, that obscure yellow one, it's got alien hands and a cop beating a giant heart with a baton, and like,
I have not seen this one.
Like there's like a switchblade in there for no good reason. There's like all this crazy stuff on this first logo that we had, and it was a bit it's a great logo. We still use it all the time, and I still see the stickers. I was actually driving through my girlfriend's neighborhood. It's a very nice neighborhood, and I was driving through I think it was yesterday morning on the way back to get coffee, and I saw a "What's the Fuss" sticker, like one of the old school ones, on this fucking car in this super nice neighborhood. I'm like, I wanted to be like, who is that? They had to get it from me. The only way to get that is from me, because the other ones we sold online, you could just get them online, and they went out to a lot of different people, and I sold a bunch of them. But the original one, you had to get that from me, or there was no other way to get it. So I know for a fact that I gave it to him, and I wanted to know who it was. And I've seen that a couple of times. It's super cool. And another thing you mentioned is these shows that you don't know if they're gonna make it or not. Way back, I mean, this is a few years ago, I got a text message from a kid who, he was like, "Hey, Rocky, you love the show. I have some questions for you if you have time to answer them." I said, "Sure, shoot me the questions. I'm at work. I'll answer them when I can." He sent me 30 questions.
Oh, jeez.
He sent me 30 of them. And so it took me days, maybe even like over a week. And I eventually answered all these questions and sent them back to him. And that kid was John Hannon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he actually came over to hang out with me. It was the weirdest thing. It was the day of my best friend's funeral, and I was extremely sick. This is a couple years ago now. I was super sick. I think that was pneumonia that I had. Oh, damn. And I just left my best friend's funeral, which I had gotten kicked out of my own best friend's funeral. That was fun. Yeah.
You live an interesting life, sir.
Man, yeah. It's pretty crazy. He would have loved that though. My buddy Bill, who was my original co-host, he was a crazy guy, and they called him Hurricane Bill because he came in kind of categories, and people would ask, they'd be like, "Where's he at tonight?" And they'd be like, "He's like 1 or 2," and that meant he was cool. He was being all right, and people would be like, "All right, I'll be there in an hour." And then some people would be like, "All right, call me when he's at 3 or 4, and then I'll come out." And if Hurricane Bill 5 came, that meant that there was going to be just sex, drugs, rock and roll, taking your shirt off at the bar. Like it was madness with that guy. But yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
But
we
yeah,
like
we do lead a crazy life. A guy asked us in an email not too long ago, because we love answering emails. If you want to send us an email, even just to tell me how much you hate me, what's the fuss podcast at gmail.com. I love reading emails. And some guy asked us, I guess maybe like a month or two ago, they were like, is Rocky as crazy as he seems? And at the same exact time, Chris said yes, and I said no. Because it doesn't seem that crazy to me until you start telling the stories. And then you're like, oh, this one time I got shot in Texas. And this other time I got stabbed at a bar. And this other time I got stomped by a bull. Like, and you don't think about it. You know, like, I know that I'm crazy. What's up?
Was all those things that happened to you?
Yeah. And it's gotten crazier even since then. You know, it's gotten, you know, I thought this whole time, like, even like back in like high school, we were partiers, we were skateboarders, we you know, it was sex, drugs, rock and roll. That's what we like doing. And it's sort of sad because now it's stopped. Now, like I said, I'm in my daughter's room. I'm like, you know, I'm like nerd dad now. She thinks I'm a nerd. My daughter thinks I'm a nerd because she has no idea about any of this stuff. But like, when you think back about it, and you know, you just go, you know, you have no idea, kid. You have no idea. You know, I've stared down the barrel of a gun. I've done this. I've been around the fucking world and back, and you know, and then now I'm just in my PJs watching Space Jam. You know?
I think that's the perfect spot to end on for at least this round. I am sure I will have you on again because there's many stories that we did not get to that I would love to hear.
Absolutely. Well, I think we're doing this again sometime, and also I would love to have you on whenever we can set a date for that. You're more than invited. I'd love to have you in. Yeah,
just send me dates, and we'll talk a little bit after we end the live stream. But for the people that missed it at the beginning of the show, plug where everybody can find you at.
Right now, if you just look up What's the Fuss Podcast on YouTube, that's a really good way to get the last few shows. A lot of our shows are up on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff like that. And you can find them there. And again, the Facebook, the Instagram, those are a lot of fun. I would check out the Facebook group, WTFP group. That is where most of the shenanigans goes down.
Awesome. Well, Rocky, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it, especially for the very last minute asking you to come on. So thank you so much for letting me not talk to myself for a second week in a row. If you guys
thank you very much for having me, man. I love doing this with you.
Of course. If you guys dig the show, please head over to anything J Bauer Art to hit the follow, the like, and all that good stuff. You can find Back Talk with Bauer on the HWWS WebTV Facebook page and YouTube, on all the your favorite podcast app. If I'm not on there, let me know. Please message me to get your free sticker, to claim your free sticker. I will mail it out to you for free. Make sure to order your Back Talk with Bauer cassette tape shirts before October 6th at jbauerartshop.com. If you see all the artwork behind me, you can buy paintings, you can buy prints, all this cool stuff. You can own, except for the top, some of the top stuff. But down below is all for sale. You can find everything at jbauerartshop.com. If you cannot find it, or you can't, you know, if you have questions, message me, email me at jbauerart@gmail.com. And I think that's all the plugs I have. And I want to do this one more time. I'm going to drop you down, Rocky. Don't go anywhere. I'll talk to you right at the end of the stream. Thanks again for popping in. Hold on 1 minute. So, yeah, I'm playing this one more time because I don't know if everybody saw it. But thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to play this, and then I'm going to end the stream. So, later.